Yo, hello mate, how are you doing? Welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that, and I welcome you warmly back to Chelsea News. That's right, the usually twice daily, in fact, it is a twice daily show, god darn it, here on the channel where I reflect on Chelsea's headlines, all the headlines speaking about Chelsea, the news, the rumours, the speculation, giving you my opinion on it, more importantly asking for yours. The show goes on, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday there was a great video in the morning, a rare occurrence where I've only done one video in a day, but we spoke about lots of important stuff, so if you're yet to watch that, I recommend you go do so. But today, Milan are back in with a third, I think it's a third bid, certainly at least second, for Christian Pulisic. This deal is set to happen. Chelsea are making serious moves. As suspected for Moises Casado, there is hope and positive news with the Levi Colwill camp that he is going nowhere. Oh my god, there's so much. There's Andre Santos. Is he going to go on what would be a good loan to Porto, though it would hurt my heart a little bit because I'd want him to stay, or is he going to stay and develop in the squad? Vlahovic, are we going to buy a striker? Oh my giddy aunt, there's just so much, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just quickly do that. Thank you for joining me. We're going to go through it all today, so pour yourself a drink, get comfortable, sit yourself down, unless you're standing and you have to stand. Maybe you're on a tube, and you don't have to sit down, but like and subscribe. Right, quickly, there are murmurings from a couple of different news sources that everything's gonna be alright regarding Levi Colwill. I've been a little bit on the fence with this, play me or I'm gonna go, because that doesn't necessarily fly with Pochettino's quite positive stance that I think most of us subscribe to, that if you don't pay, you don't sign to play, you sign to train, and I see if you can play, which is the best way, really. Old school, but old school is a little bit what we need right now. But at the same time, he's ruddy mustard, he's young, Levi Colwill, and it does sound like Pochettino does have big designs for him, and should he be able to put that message into Levi's ear, we should get him to sign a long-term deal on our reduced wage structure that we've now implemented and will be for the betterment of the entire football club. It's a good thing that there is a positive feeling around Chelsea at the moment. It's certainly helpful, and granted we finished 12th, we're having a max exodus and there's a lot of pain, emotion and tears, but there's also this underlying excitement, this percolating fire down in the guts of Chelsea fans and indeed players that are just training hard. Your Reece James is ready to carry them bricks. Raheem Sterling is training like a demon. The young super talents of Andre Santos, Casado, Matson, Gusto, they're all here, they're ready. We've got strikers. We're gonna get elite midfielders, and Nkunku will arrive. We've got, players at the under-21s championship. Granted, Mudryk, I think he was eliminated yesterday. Certainly it was 4-1 the last I checked. But he got himself another assist, and he's seemingly in form. Noni Madueke has been playing well for England's under-21s, who are now in the final. With the aforementioned Levi Colwill, there's a good feeling. So when dude gets back from under-21s championships with England, he should think, you know what? There's vibes here. Gaffer, I'm in. Alright then, alright. Well, Chelsea have signed another player. Lol, it's a young teenage player for presumably Project 2030. When will we stop? Seemingly never. The Athletic writes, Chelsea are set to complete the signing of Ishe, I-S-H-E, Samuels Smith from Everton for a fee close to £4 million. The 17-year-old defender has agreed a 3-year deal with the London club. This is interesting. So I thought Bowley and Igbali, the Chelsea ownership, would look at a 17-year-old and go, lovely, put him on a 12-year deal. As is apparently our inclination of late. But no, a 3-year deal. I wonder if this is kind of like probational thing, or yeah, wonder what reasons there are for that. So 3-year deal with the club. The highly rated teenager featured prominently for Everton's youth sides this season, and was named on the first team bench for the 4-1 Carabao Cup defeat to Bournemouth. What an honour. No, that is generally good, obviously, in terms of career moves for a 17-year-old being named on a Premier League team first team bench. As well as the 3-1 defeat to Fulham. Oh, good. He got to see those defeats, those shellackings, probably under Frank Lampard. Really close from the bench. So Samuel Smith was born in Manchester and began to represent Everton at 9 years old and is featured in under 18s, and under 21 side. He's on loads of USs. He's represented England at loads of levels as well, and he is seemingly a very good player. Another one. I don't really want to spend too much time speaking on that because we've signed loads of youngsters and there's another one. We're going to have an army of them. What's going to happen is we're never going to sign a senior player ever again because we've sowed this allotment of young, talented players. English, South American, European, and they should start popping up just in times of need when, who's like I seen it? The Raheem Sterling flowers go sour. Or even in Nkunku, he's 25 and so he's over the hill. Jesus, 10 years younger than me, nearly. Over the hill. Ugh. Right, so Christian Pulisic, guys. He we liked the offer from Lyon, and of course we've been linked with Ryan Cherki, a very exciting, attacking, creative midfielder that we thought maybe a deal could be done. But understandably, Pulisic would prefer a move to Milan, Champions League, playing Milan, which Lyon are not. I was going to say I'm reliably informed, but I just read they're not. That's all it is. It was a better financial offer from Lyon, but it looks like they have all kinds of financial problems now and can't buy at the moment. So we'll put Cherki on hold, or at least externalise that from Christian Pulisic, and talk to Milan a little bit more. So Chelsea held out for more after Milan makes second bid for Pulisic. Chelsea want to raise more funds, of course. After the Italian side made a second bid worth up to £19 million for the winger. Yes, so this was a €22 million bid submitted. Talks are in the final stages, so saith Fabrizio Romano. Milan are also working on signing Samuel Chukwueze, finally getting that move. Well, high-profile move. So Chelsea and Milan are supposedly getting quicker, but Steinberg over here on The Guardian writes that we're holding out. Originally, they had a £12 million bid rejected. Go away with your £12 million. This is Captain America, who is expected to leave Stamford Bridge this summer. Pulisic, that is, of course. And negotiations between the clubs are ongoing. Lyon's bid was nearly £22 million, which is pretty darn close to Chelsea's valuation. But understandably, Pulisic wants to go to the San Siro. Of course, we've maintained a good relationship with AC Milan in terms of selling them players. We sold him Tomori, we sold him Giroud, we sold him Ruben Loftus-Cheek to great success on their side. Of course, they won the Scudetto with the first two, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek looks like he could be excellent for them. They're seemingly quite excited for them, so they'll think getting Loftus-Cheek and Pulisic. I mean, these are good footballers. We're selling them, by the way, for probably great value. So, Pulisic comes with this great marketability and brand awareness with, US soccer. Ruben doesn't bring that. but Ruben brings excellent profile of footballer, strong, and very positionally versatile. It's very exciting indeed. And if I don't feel like this is like deadwood flogging. I actually feel like from a Milan perspective, these are excellent assets to have in your team that make you better, that you are acquiring for decent money, so that it's a good deal around. And obviously it just gives us an opportunity to sell players in a time when we really are trying to clean the decks, do you know what I mean? And they're both on big wages. Well, Ruben's gone, he wasn't big wages, so is Pulisic was more than Ruben. Things are happening, strange things are happening to me. Right, what's going on with Andre Santos? Because there was a record Portuguese publication was saying, look, he's going to go on loan to Porto. Conceição said yes. And I was like, that's what I was like. I was. And for me, I want Andre Santos to stay purely on the premise of he's this kid who scores loads of goals. He can play anywhere, well, sort of defensive central midfield, but he scores goals, which you'd imagine would fizzle out in high level football. But he looks wicked. Chelsea have got high hopes for him. They wanted him to be in the first team straight away as an 18-year-old in the January transfer window, but couldn't sort out his visa issues, so we loaned him back to Vasco da Gama, where he came from. And then obviously he went and did the Brazilian South American Youth Championships. I think that helped his visa points, so I think he can just go straight into the first team now. He's of course training in pre-season. But Porto would actually represent a wicked loan. It's a very high level of football. Porto are a good team. Chelsea, of course, are trying to develop and nurture loads of relationships in Portuguese football. And, of course, being Brazilian, he can speak Portuguese. The cat wants to come in. Come on, Mia. Yeah, there you are, mate. So being a Brazilian, he can speak Portuguese, and then therefore he can settle in, and he can spend a year there on loan. I guess they're in the Champions League, Porto. They usually are. And also, he can just do English lessons every day while speaking Portuguese at work. Couldn't he, Mia? So it would probably represent a really sensible loan. But the decision hasn't been made, writes Nizar Kinsella. Porto wants to sign Chelsea midfielder Andre Santos on loan, but the Brazilian is expected to stay with Mauricio Pochettino's squad for pre-season. So he's not going to send him off now. He wants to have a gander at him. So he's 19 now. He was set to join the Portuguese Giants on a season-long loan, but no exit has yet been sanctioned. And that's good, because we're going to have a starting pivot of Enzo and, fingers crossed, Casado. But beyond that, we ain't got much, dude. Pochettino's keen to evaluate his one-time Brazilian international. Of course, yeah, despite being 18, he's still got that call-up to the Brazilian first team, which is crazy considering the talent pool that Brazil has to call from. I'm just going to check what... Oh, you're there. You're fine. I thought she was just chewing cables, as, you know, she can sometimes do. All right, out you go then. You said hello. There you go, mate. Go on. Don't want to... Yeah, okay. So yes, that's a big honour, and it's very telling that he got called up to that Brazil team, considering the talent, and he was just playing at youth level. Yes, so the gaffer wants to have a look at him. We signed him for £16 million. I swear that keeps going up. I think there might be add-ons as well. But yeah, he went back on loan immediately after failing to secure a work permit. The loan back to Brazil has been cut short, and a US visa has been secured for Santos to depart during pre-season. Do they need a US visa for pre-season? I guess they do, because they're working. You never really think about that. You think about when they go and play, for a season or 6 months loan, you need a visa. But just having a little fruit around for like a couple of weeks, didn't they need a visa for that? I mean, I guess, of course you do, which is me being silly. The youngster expects to secure his permission to play in the Premier League next season following the rule changes and various achievements, including his appearance for his national team. Right, so his work for Brazil has given him the visa points, so he can do it. So he can play for Chelsea. A decision to select him next could be based on his footballing merits alone. Of course, Mount, Kovacic, Loftus-Cheek, Havertz, Kante have all gone, and Jorginho in January. And even if we sign Moises Casado, we are going to need midfield cover. Gallagher could represent maybe the slightly advanced. I still think Gallagher's closer towards goal. I reckon it would just be like a harder working number 10. Like when maybe... Nkunku does work hard, but maybe when you just need someone to run ragged in advanced midfield, Gallagher would still be very useful. So not really double pivot vibes, where Andre Santos could represent double pivot vibes. I hope we keep him, man. He's exciting, I mean, I'm just excited watching these players play. Of course, in terms of Caicedo and updates, Romano has talked about it again the last hours. He said, Chelsea are making big moves. They're deep in the conversations. They're really, really moving on this. No one's, in the background, this is being done, essentially. Of course, the valuation is the only issue. The player wants to come. Chelsea, I think, willing to pay £70 million plus 10 on add-ons, so which is a lot for Caicedo. I think they should just stop being knobbers and take that. They believe the value is more, but at the same time, maybe there just isn't the market for him. And they did tell the young Ecuador international himself he could go this summer. There was a promise made. Roberto De Zerbi's even said this. Mac Allister and Caicedo were told they can leave. Mac Allister was rather promptly sold to Liverpool for like nothing. But Chelsea come along. And the Caicedo fee is massive, though. Value for him would be, the valuation would be higher for Caicedo. Right, offensive players. Big Romano himself has spoken about Chelsea are moving mad for offensive players, which is interesting. What offensive players do we have so far, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Well, we have 2 young strikers, Nicholas Jackson and Armando Broja. We have 3 wingers, Mudryk, Sterling, and Noni Madueke, which one would argue isn't enough. Granted, Nkunku can play out wide, probably more left than right, and Jackson can play wide as well because he was a winger converted into a striker. But the reports suggest that we signed Nicholas Jackson as a striker, so we're gonna have three usable, healthy strikers that want to play in the time that we don't have European football. We make some funny choices, don't we? Anyway, so a winger and a striker. For Romano suggesting we're making loads of moves for offensive players. It's got to be a striker. Everyone's talking about a striker. Vlahovic is another one. There's a report in Italy suggesting that he is tempted by Chelsea. This ismessaggero.it. The Serbian is interested in Chelsea. Of course, Pochettino wants Lautaro Martinez. Kane is off the menu. I'd prefer him to go to Bayern Munich than Manchester United, personally, because I think Manchester United are getting a little bit too good for my liking in terms of recruitment. And, well, the things with Vlahovic, Juve didn't finish in the top 4, and they need to generate funds. Well, they did, but they got the points deduction, didn't they? So they've got no Champions League qualification, and they need to generate revenue. And obviously Vlahovic would represent an excellent opportunity to do that. And he hasn't been excellent at Juve. Maybe he just hasn't fit in well, which does worry me. But everything worries me now. But the fact how we're signing offensive players or moving for that means maybe for me that, who knows, maybe a right winger as well. Anyway, of course, there was a lot to get into, hence the long video. I'll be very interested in learning your thoughts, feelings, opinions, musings, and emotions on everything. So please do comment down below. Thank you for liking the video and subscribing. And I will see you on the next one. Turn the bell on. Ciao.